Hey everybody, welcome to the stream. It's me, Fuzzy-Squirrel. I'm back. And thanks for those of you who joined earlier today. We are now streaming, currently using... if I get my notes together. We are using Restream.io tonight, so hopefully there aren't any issues with the actual stream pushing to everybody's different services. It means if you're on Mixer, welcome to the party. If you're on Twitch TV, that's probably going to be your best experience than anybody else who's on YouTube or any of the others. That's okay too. We still love you. Just know that we're trying out some new stuff tonight for our stream. So we've got a couple of people who are on their way to getting in. We are going to have a few stand-ins for the match tonight. We currently have a few... Let's make sure everybody's got the message. But yeah, welcome to the stream. Let's get this party started. All right. Alrighty, right.
Testing buttons.
You button clicker.
Don't do it. Do it. Sneaky.
All right. A couple people joining into the Twitch channel. People joining over there. All the preparations. Timers. Cool. Recent attachment.
Guess what I learned after Daddy hit his thumb with a hammer?
What's that?
Just a gif. That's all it says. But it's a little kid.
Ah. That's funny. I see Sarah's coming, so they should be here in a minute.
Can only imagine.
I can only imagine.
Imagination.
Imagination. So while we're getting all that theater up, let's try and transfer some of that other fun stuff. Okay. So that should work. I think she's good. Someone's banging the doorbell a couple times. Give me just a minute. I'm gonna go see if that's Becca. She might need help bringing the stuff in. Alright, back. Got some liquid refreshment. Becca's here. Get on the right overlay. Anybody else join on my absence? Nope, not yet. I know that they accepted the invitation. I wonder if they remember. Let's see. Bum, 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 bum. Here's Steve. Hey, Steve. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh, man. Molto bene. He says he'll be on in 15-ish minutes, so Nathan will be here. I just need verbal confirmation from Zazas.
Fantastic. Okay. Two-hand.
So we're just waiting for the others. I don't have confirmation from Steve or Sarah yet,
Start the
but I have Nathan.
Be right back.
All right, sounds good. Don't burn the house down.
Try not to.
Never actually
You at?
never actually got in the channel. I opened Discord. But never...
That's funny. I do that too. We're in Dungeons and Dragons, the first one.
Oh, the first
The first one.
Bonefish?
No. We're all in that channel right now. Those are text channels you're looking at. We're down below.
I see it now.
I can see your face.
Okay.
Creeper face. Hold on. I gotta get my Timo ears popping up. That way I can hear what you're saying properly.
Okay. How's your drink, baby?
It's good. What is it?
I don't know.
You don't know what it is?
I told them to just tell me whichever one was the most popular. Dr. Pepper drink.
Okay, Joey Leckby verbally confirmed that you are playing for him. If he's cool with it, sorry.
Okay, there we go.
Try and kill those things. Notifications.
Kill the bells?
Kill the bells. You can kill the bells. You just gotta turn them off.
I know. Then I'll be missing out on ambience.
Well, where's
true.
the echoing?
Because it's going to be noon forever in this town.
I'm not sure why he's echoing. For some reason, you're echoing for Becca.
Echoing? Still? Maybe. I don't know why I'd be echoing. I don't have echo turned on. Oh, you know what? Hold on. It's probably because I need to turn
You're
on
not-
voice.
You're not echoing for me, but you're echoing for her.
You might be voice and roll 20 as well as Discord.
Yep. That should be it. So it should be fixed now.
Yep. No echo.
No echo.
Echo, 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 echo. My video's still broken. Ah, Rage Fist.
Okay.
It's the reason it's broken is because it's I'm broadcasting in OBS, and so it's using that connection.
You have to have two cameras?
That's what I'm doing right now. But the web isn't smart, or the web browser isn't smart enough to know if one's in use or not.
I don't actually have them on mine. I have one on yours.
Yep.
Yeah. Gotcha.
Let me try. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see what this will do. I'm not really sure.
I don't have to be on the stream. You can take.
I have one right here.
Oh.
Yeah, it's stupid because it doesn't allow you to select multiple cameras. I mean, obviously, most people aren't going to run like 12 cameras. But it's still kind of annoying that it doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
Let's try this. Reset. See if it works. Wait for it. Wait for it. Does it connect? I see my face. Dungeon Master now has video. In a really functified, chopped off. Is it chopped off for you guys too?
Is what?
Chopped off?
Yeah, whatever.
You mean choppy?
Cropped.
Choppy.
It's choppy and cropped.
No.
Everyone else is smooth.
Hey, you get what you get, you don't throw up it.
You've been struck by a smooth criminal. Yeah, it's got to be something to do with it's trying to stream at a higher bitrate than WebRTC is able to support.
Sure.
Because I don't understand. It doesn't allow me to make any changes to it. What they really need to do is be able to put a setting in there and say, okay, what resolution do you want to stream at, and then let your local client downsize the stream before it tries to send it across the wire.
Mm-hmm.
Piece of crap. Dang it. Fine, I'll just do it for you. No, I really wouldn't. Video player avatar
Yeah,
size.
please don't.
How bad is it?
Oh, it's not bad. I just know they're.
Okay. Let me know if there's any issues with my camera. Otherwise, I'm hiding it from myself, so I can't. I'm none the wiser if it's actually working or not. As long as your guys' is showing, that's what matters to me.
Yeah.
Okay. So we are. I still haven't gotten anything from Steve and Sarah. I didn't realize they're up today. Okay, let's see if that works. I guess while we're waiting, I won't do it through Discord, so you guys have to hear it for the 100th time, but I'll do it through whatever, do little announcements. So, thank you guys for joining the stream. Those of you who were earlier today for the creative stream, it was a lot of fun. I appreciate everybody turning out for that. We are now playing on...
What?
We're going to update the title here. We're going to be playing Dungeons and Dragons. Right now we're using the Lost Mine of Phandelver. Currently, the Band of Adventurers is entering back into the actual town of Phandelver after having cleared out Crackmaw Hideout. So, look forward to that. Okay, so they're not going to make it tonight. So we've got 2 members that aren't able to make it tonight. They got Halloween activities.
Okay. Probably trunk or treat or something.
Probably.
Okay.
Okay, so as soon as Nathan gets here, we can get started on that. He said 15 minutes, so hopefully. Dot. Let me think. I feel like I'm forgetting something big. Steve says, don't let them kill me. They won't, I will.
Yes.
Alright, so that's good.
Somebody's eating.
Yep. Give me some gummies.
Nice.
I like me gummies.
Gummies are delicious. I'm getting Papa Murphy's pizza.
All right.
All right, all right, all right.
All right, all right, all right, all right. Now the ladies. Yeah. All right, so the stream is updated now, so we should be in the right channels, right stuff. I should have done that before I started the stream, but Preston's a little scatterbrained today. Everything else seems to be working. Oh, sorry, number 2. Well played, well played. Sneaky. And are you in here too? Sneaky, sneaky, sneaky. I don't see Sneaky quite yet. Okay, so I guess take the time while we're waiting. If everyone wants to, you know, get your drinks, get your snacks, everything else settled up. And our food should be here soon as well. Crispy chicken ranchero, extra chunky. Sounds delicious. Okay, I'm gonna check on the baby real quick. Sounds like something's going on down there. Be right back.
Sure. Good luck. Bye.
There we go. Nobody's dead. All right.
Hope so. I'm just sitting here in town.
Actually, somebody died, and I just decided to up and leave. No. There was a disagreement between the local munchkins.
Mm.
One of them wanted the lollipop guild. The other one said that that was just old-fashioned, and a riot ensued.
Oh no. Oh, be right back. I'm being summoned.
Okay. And we're just waiting for Nathan. ... 6:48, 49:50 going. That's 58 is 10 minutes, so 15-ish minutes. All right, so he's got about 7-ish minutes, 6 minutes before that is executed. And then we will begin, I guess. I'll just tell him that we'll start talking about stuff at 7 o'clock, and I just won't address his stuff until a little bit after that. But then that way everybody, we can at least get started and we're not stuck with the latest denominator's time schedule.
Sure.
Normally I'd just start if it was just one person, but we're missing like half our team. Well, that's okay. It's just the holidays. Let me make room for you.
This should not count as a valid holiday excuse.
It's Halloween. It's the best holiday.
Question is, why aren't your kids trick-or-treating?
Well, that's because we're doing trick-or-treating on Tuesday.
But no trunk-or-treat?
The actual holiday. No, our trunk-or-treat was like, what was that, last week or the week before? It was this last Tuesday.
We also have another one we can go to tomorrow and Tuesday and
More. Fine. I know you're jealous. Got myself some udon, miso soup.
Miso.
Miso.
Yum.
Me so hungry. All right, so we got our field notes. Were you here, Moo, when I was telling him a little bit about when we'll start officially? 7 o'clock. So in 5 minutes, if Nathan's not here, we'll just start.
Okay.
Okay, so she gave us an order of wontons for free.
We got a free order of wontons, guys. This night is gonna be fantastic. Curse them, Joe. Extra chunky. Would you like to play? I need an extra person. Actually, I need 2 extra people. But if you'd like to play, he's in the stream. He's watching it right now.
Oh.
If you can hear this, hop into Discord. He says, sure. I knew I could convince you. Yeah, if you want to play, I'm going to have you stand in for Clandon tonight. The only stipulation that I've been given is don't die. That's it.
Is it yummy?
I hear myself in the background.
Somebody's transmitting.
Alright. Let me put my headset on.
That's okay.
Speakers for life. Just turn down the sensitivity of your mic. That'll win every time. Say no to headphones at home.
If that's what you want me to do, I can unplug mine so you can hear Becca's much better.
You're a special exception.
Here's your spoon.
I don't need it. I'm okay. I'm just drinking it with my noodle soup.
Here's your napkin, sweetheart.
I will need that. Did you want some of these wontons?
Okay.
I have 2 right here.
Okay.
Do you have to add me to a game, or what would you like me to do? I see your mouth moving, but I don't hear words.
Oh, sorry. I was putting up a sensor bar. I had it muted because I was munching and crunching. I put up a sensor bar so that way it doesn't put it on the stream. Alright, there's a link. Once you're in, let me know. I will give you access to Clandon. When you're going to play, he is a human ranger.
Human? Isn't he elf?
Half elf. Dirty half mudblood.
Wow. Those are some harsh words.
Now we see why those rolls constantly fail.
Yep. Are you familiar with everyone's characters, Joe? Joe S stands for Joe Sama.
Why are all my settings gone? This is weird.
It's per. Yeah, it's per game.
Oh, is it?
Yes, Jesus.
Because everything's really loud.
Hold on just a second. I don't have any room.
Sorry, I'm moving lag away.
Got double vision. Alright, let's edit. Alright, Joe. You now have full rights and access to Clandon. Yummy, yummy, yummy.
And we'll warn you in like 5 minutes that you have to run and take out the.
Okay.
Then I'll be right back.
No worries. Alright, 7 p.m. Where is our resident dwarf?
I almost said me, but it's not.
Hey, what's up, Sakali? I don't know why Nightbot's saying you can't use a command from an alias command. That's weird. Oh, that's probably my bad, actually. I realized what happened. Hey, what's up, Sakali? We're just about to start the stream here. We're waiting for one of our members of this merry band of adventurers in the Lost Mine of Phandelver. We're going to get started. He said he'd be here in about 15 minutes, about 10 minutes ago, so we'll just get started. So, welcome to the stream. All right. So, the last you guys recall, there were two different things going on. Basically, the bulk of our team was out in Cragmaw Hideout. So, with the exception of Dormorum, Sneaky, if you can hear me, can you get in Discord? I don't see you in Discord. Please? I don't think you can hear me. Alright, whatever. Thank you. Thank you, Balasar. So, last time we were, you guys basically came from Cragmaw Hideout. You came with Sildar Hallwinter. After having dispatched a large bugbear by the name of Clarg in the hideout, and basically just kind of going through and sweeping the rest of them out of the goblins and the bugbears and all the nasty wolves and other crap in that cave. With some quick thinking, Zedek was able to put some light on the situation using the fairy fire. And otherwise, Balasar and a few of our other, Sildar Hallwinter and many of our band were unable to see. So we were able to dispatch of Clarg. You looted the place. You took a bunch of the provisions with you. As you guys were going back down, seeing that much of it had similar crests and other symbols that belong to the town of Phandalin, and so bringing them down in the hopes that perhaps you might stumble across who they might actually belong to. So you weren't able to get all of them, but just enough that way when you get down there that you can kind of speak intelligently to somebody about what exactly is in that cave. So you guys left without incident. You were able to crest, and Sildar made the suggestion that you first stop in the Stonehill Inn, knowing that they had that there was a very quaint setup there. There were 6 different places to stay that were available in Toblin Stonehill. You guys are familiar with before having set out to help find Sildar Hallwinter. Well, in all likelihood, trying to look for Gundren, but ended up finding his friend. You guys make your way towards that Stonehill Inn. In the meantime, while this all was happening, Dormorlum at one point had found himself out in one of the alleyways. He had actually ended up getting pickpocketed by some of the locals.
Super drunk.
Super drunk. He couldn't remember any of it. Woke up in the alleyway with everything gone but his weapons and basically the clothes on his back sort of thing. And so upon going into the Sleeping Giant to try and clear his head a little bit and to find that discovery, much to his dismay, he had a little bit of a tussle with the locals, along with one of a local there named Steve, who had entered the fray unwillingly or unknowingly, having stirred up a band of 4 men and having killed one of them by the name of Shanks and wounded the other 2, Jack, Balon, and Jackin. The 3 of them were then chased outside by the angry tavern keeper, just irate that the things had been kind of turned upside down, and looking to the 2 of you between Steve and Dormorlum for recompense. He had since put you into basically indentured servitude for the time being to pay off the damage that had been done to his Sleeping Giant Tavern. So, with that, everybody's entering through Phandelver. I'm going to assume that that one of the first things that's going to happen, just so we get it off and so we don't forget it, is that Aurora, she had commissioned from one of the local woodworkers, Jeffrey, that he made some of these arrows for her. So at some point she'll probably want to go down there and check those out. But otherwise, what do you guys as a team? What are your initial thoughts after having entered the Stonehill Inn, getting your stuff settled down again, seeing Toblin once more, and kind of the bright happiness that it brought to the room of people who are all now looking at you very intrigued and kind of in a more jovial look than they had before in their eyes.
Have we already turned in the goods we recovered? Are those...
Yes, Barthen's. Well, you turn in Barthen's provisions, but the others you're not sure who they belong to.
Okay, so are they just outside on a cart or something still?
So at this point you didn't have a cart. You just took enough to like some of the symbols and a couple of the crates just to say, hey, here's some stuff that seems to belong to the city of Phandelver. Otherwise, you don't have the rest of it is still in the cave. So you're gonna have to send somebody or do something to get that out of the cave.
Okay. Well, first thing I want to do is get a nice tasty beer. After all that, let's start with that.
Perfect. All right. So you sit down at the tavern, Toblin. Oh, my friends, Sildar, are you okay? And he returns and says, my friend, we were ambushed. There were goblins on the highway, and I'm not sure what came of Gundren, but please, if you hear anything, please let me know. I'm desperately seeking around town. My notes have all disappeared. If you see my mage friend, please let me know. Let him know that I'm looking for him. And so Toblin, seeming to know who he's talking about, kind of nods to him in agreement, and then looks over to Balasar. Balasar, you jovially ask for a mug of ale, and he said, it's the least I could do, and this one's on the house. And he hands you a mug or a pint.
Oh, fantastic! I just start chugging that thing down. It's nice and refreshing. Now then, we have all these goods. Can we announce to the inn if anybody recognizes these items? If
Sure.
they're there, if anybody's missing things.
Sure. So you ask around a little bit. Toblin kind of looks at him and he says, "The sigil on here seems to be, something of the Lion Shield cloister, something that they might deal in. I would definitely check them out. They're just down to the south, down on the right hand side of the road."
All right. That's good to know. We'll take care of that later then.
Yep. And so I would definitely check with them first. But I know that there have been reports of different different shipments and other things going missing. So I'm sure that they would be very grateful.
Okay. Now then, want to turn to Sildar and see if he has any idea where Gundren has gone. If he knows if they said anything about him, or do we only
So basically, the last time, this is me talking, as far as the town, when everyone had looked around, they talked to Barthen. Barthen knew that he was supposed to be coming back, but they hadn't seen him yet. And then the fact that they had a map container that actually belonged to him and had his sigil on the side of it, they knew that belonged to him. And Barthen, knowing how important Gundren was for the future of this town, pleaded with this band to try and get them to go and look for him, and that's where they ended up going back to the highway and finding Sildar Hallwinder in the Cragmaw hideout.
I want to head to the Shrine of Luck. Just pay my respects to the god there.
Okay. So you go ahead and you walk outside. You hear the clopping of the footfall of the hooves of different animals in the distance. Kids running around. It's very much. We're sitting about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. As you guys had entered the town, you walk out by yourself across the street, across the town square to Sister Grail. Sorry, Moo, your nose might be blowing on the mic.
Sorry.
That's okay. Just letting you know.
Trying to read the shit.
That's okay. So you guys, so you go across, you see the Shrine of Luck. Currently there's nobody around. You see these small, not really crude, but you see this small shrine that is built up, and you can see it's very, very apparent, the same Shrine of Luck that you had come to before. So Becca goes across the Shrine of Luck.
Yes.
And what else? What's everyone else doing?
I'm drinking. I'm drinking
Okay.
heavily.
So Balazar is getting his fill.
I have a vice for the hard drink, apparently.
Looking for a life.
And I'm still washing dishes.
Yep. You are still washing dishes. So you guys know, Dormorlum and Sneaky are going to be in the Sleeping Giant basically doing dishes and just kind of like cleaning up and fixing things, probably until about 7 or 8 in the evening.
Okay.
And then once that's done, he'll let you go. Say again?
No, he's over there. Those two are over there.
No, you guys have no idea. Just before leaving town. Sorry. Just before leaving town, he just disappeared. We didn't know where he went.
Okay.
I went off to drink a bunch and got all drunk and everything.
I see.
That is correct. Let me also kill this. I forgot I had the sensor on there. Beep, beep. There we go. All right. So he's gone. You guys weren't sure. All you know is that he just disappeared. So you guys have been gone for probably 2.5 days during this time period. And so upon coming back, to not know he's there is still a little bit weird. And so, Balasar and Dormorlum, they're not on bad terms, but they do butt heads.
Okay.
Just as a character note. Mostly because you're both connoisseurs of the ale and beer making variety, and you have disagreements on how it's best to be made.
Correct.
All right, so you're drinking Zedek. What are you up to?
Can't hear you, Fuzzy.
Can you hear me now?
Oh, never mind. There we go. My bad.
Okay. So you guys, Zedek, what are you up to while this is all going on?
I was looking for a life of some sort.
Okay, so you start asking around, quietly. Toblin leans down. I'm sorry, friend. You'll need to speak up. I can't quite hear you. And so, you repeat to him. He says, okay, he's puts his hand up to his thing. He's like, no, not in this town. And Phandelver, we're very much hardy folk. We're more about getting the job done and, working and mining and really trying to breathe life back in this town. And there's really hasn't been a chance for anyone to bring any literature here, per se.
So there's no history, no.
No, this town, it's been only just recently in the last few years we've been rebuilding. It's been probably, hundreds of years since anyone has lived here.
I see.
It had long since been abandoned, but we here, at the Stonehill Inn and everywhere else, we seek to change that alongside our leadership here in town, and we have high hopes in, returning it to the jewel that it once was.
Are there any ruins that are earthy?
Ruins in earthly ruins? Is that what I see?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like earthy nature.
Okay. No, but there's probably the stonework, but that'd be the closest. Otherwise, there's nothing, no shrines of others. We do have the Shrine of Luck, and that was here long ago. And when we came back to the town, it seemed to have still been standing. And Sister Grail is very gracious enough to keep that piece of history alive for us. Otherwise, not really.
First, tell me more about this Shrine of Luck.
Oh, yes, the Shrine of Luck. So the Shrine of Luck is, you're familiar with Lady Luck, and her name is escaping me at the moment. Timora, that's right, because I made a pact with her yesterday. So Timora, she is the patron goddess of this region. Everyone, seems to know her and worship her and love her. She purveys all that surrounds, luck and fortune, good fortune. And so obviously being a town that is all about mining and the riches that come from just simply, having the wherewithal and the sense to find it in the right place, and the luck that's involved there, and the gummies that are underneath the ground. That, this is really something, she shines her light upon us daily. There's many things that will bring life once again into this town. So we're very grateful for Timora and her watching over us day to day.
Is Zedek in the inn with him as well? Or is he?
Yes, he's in the inn. He's talking to Toblin next to you on the bar stools while you're drinking your mead. Zedek, your mic was cutting out. Say it again.
I said directly towards. Sure.
Absolutely. So Toblin, gestures outside. Kind of wipes his hands off on his apron, comes out from behind the counter and walks you to the door. And then as you step out the front, he just points across the town square, just to the northwest of where you're at. And just points right over there. You can see Venfina over at the Shrine of Luck currently, paying her respects. And he says, just over there by that paladin. I believe that she's your friend.
Yes.
Yes, just over there. That's precisely where it's at.
Okay. Head there.
Okay, so he heads there. What's everyone else up to? Dormorlum, you're sitting in the sleeping giant. The innkeeper comes in with a hearty laugh. This is becoming later and later in the afternoon. And he says, I didn't think that we'd be able to put things back into shape the way they were, but, I think we've done it just in time, for the evening rush. I thank you both for, being men of your words and doing what is right. You are both released from my, from the needs that I have of you. And so at that point, you basically just, you guys are able to go on your way. You still don't have any coin in your pocket, and the money that you had paid him that you had looted off the bodies is still in his pocket, but you are free to leave the sleeping giant if you want.
Well, do you know? I want to ask innkeeper. Have you heard of anywhere I go and get some work, do some other work, earn some coin?
Well, there's plenty to go around here. I mean, and he looks you up and down. Being a dwarf, forgive me for saying it. You usually are good with this mining. There's the mines. There's always things to be repaired around the. What is your skill set? What?
Well, I do make a fine ale. And definitely been working in the mines since a child.
All right.
Horrible.
I know, horrible. Okay, shut up. Shut up. I prefer drinking and fighting.
Fair enough. I like the spirit and fire with you. And he looks around for your friend Sneaky, who's just disappeared. He's not. You don't see where he went after being relinquished of his debt. Has just vanished. So you're looking around. Otherwise, he says, you might talk to Tobin Stonehill. He's down at the Stonehill Inn. They might have some work for you, some manual labor, but unless it's in the mines, most things in this town, no one here pays well enough to really merit the finer ale or the finer liquors. So I'm afraid that your studies in actually creating the ale might go to waste in this town.
Well, I shall make my way towards Stonehill and see what they got going over there.
Absolutely, Master Dwarf. And stay out of trouble. I'd advise you stay away from those red cloaks.
Trouble follows me.
Okay. So at that point, he wipes his hands, starts to go wipe down some more of the tables. Basically just making sure everything's ready for the evening's rush.
Right. Out I go. Out to Stonehill Inn.
Okay. So in walks in the Stonehill Inn. You guys, currently, Venfina and Zedek are not there. They're over at the Shrine of Luck. Dormorm, you walk in, finding Balasar at the bar.
I go join Balasar.
I see him enter and I just let out a groan. Here comes the person with no taste.
My drinking friend. How are you?
Get away from me, dwarf. You stink. Stink of dishwater.
Well, let us get drunk together anyways. I want to. Been doing dishes all day. I'll tell you what. I'll even let you buy the drinks. Show me what a fine ale tastes like.
I'm gonna have to disagree with him. I'm not gonna buy any of his drinks.
Persuasion. Come on, persuasion.
All right, roll for persuasion, Balasar. Roll for intimidation.
Who, me or?
Gosh.
So you roll for persuasion because he's counter intimidating you. So roll for persuasion. So Balasar kind of looks at you, blinks a little bit, kind of pulls out his claws, does what little math barbarians do on their fingers, kind of gets confused, tries to start counting again, and he looks over at you. How would you like to respond?
Just give me your coin and I'll pay for the ale. You just tell me what to drink.
Yeah, sure. Barkeeper, tasty ales, please. More of them. Hand him a small bundle of gold coins.
Okay. So he gives you. So go ahead and give him 5 coins, and he basically he'll keep the liquor running for. And this ale in this town is just above dishwater. Basically, it's not that great. It's okay as far as you guys' refined taste, but it's top shelf for them.
I'd even take your terrible ale you make over this.
I mean, some of them are like makeshift ales that they've done, and some of them they've got like random tastes like mint and other weird stuff.
I don't know any that tastes like, but I imagine mint and beef.
I know, right?
That'd probably be horrible.
Very, very strong of hops, whatever that tastes like, but yeah.
This is like coffee.
Right? So you guys continue drinking. You hear a few different people talking, and as you're sitting there, you find that an older elf man, kind of slender, comes and slumps down next to you on the bar stool. And it says, "So you're the men that brought back Sildar, eh?"
Well, he is.
And he looks
I don't know,
looks at the
Sildar.
dwarf, looks at you confused. Fair enough.
What time of day is it?
We're sitting at this point. It's probably later 6 o'clock-ish in the afternoon.
Okay, so sun's gonna go down.
That starts summer.
I'm gonna
7:30.
walk in.
Into the inn.
Yeah.
Okay. Zedek, what are you doing at this point? Are you coming with her, or are you staying out there?
Can I look at the shrine?
It keeps cutting out for me.
The shrine is pretty old.
Yes.
Can I examine it a little closer?
Yeah, absolutely. So you're examining it, and then I'll come to that description in just a second. So Venfina walks in as you see an older elf man sitting next to Dora Morlum and Balazar. I'm having a thing for names today. And then talking.
Next to me or Balthasar?
He sat next to Balasar, and he's looking over towards the two of you. He knows of Balasar based on his description. He's the only Dragonborn that's been in this town for a while, and so and after talking with Sildar for a brief while, you get the sense that Sildar's pretty well connected in this town.
So I'll kind of pass it on to Balthasar and just go back to my drink.
Okay, so you shrug your shoulders and look back. And he says, well, thank you very much. Sildar's been an old friend. He's been very important to this town. Him and, his Order of the Gauntlet have been very, very helpful. Do you, I heard that you guys might be new in town, and as I understand it, that you may be looking for work?
Well, I mean,
You said work?
Oh, absolutely. Well, should you need, I have an orchard outside of town, and we're getting about that time of year that I need a little extra help on the farm itself. I can't pay you much, but I can give you room and board if you like.
no, hard labor like that's not for us. I want to be out there killing evil.
He looks.
Fighting goblins, orcs.
He looks.
Sounds like peasant work.
He looks you both up and down, kind of sizes you up a little bit, and he. All right, I totally understand. Totally understand. You guys are hardier folk. I am a little bit concerned. Perhaps you might be able to do something of it. As of late, there have been these what they call themselves the Red Band ruffians. Ever since they've come into this town, they've been preying on the weak. They've been upturning tables, just really messing with the town. And I don't know that you guys might be able to do anything about it. I've mentioned it to the mayor, but he's done little else. But he does not want to provoke them. Between you and me, I feel like a bit of a coward. But should anyone, if stand up to him,
Now that sounds more like a job I can do. How's the pay?
Well, I can't pay you in much else than room and board and my sincerest of gratitudes.
I don't work for gratitude.
Oh, fair enough. Wait a minute. Aren't you the...
Hold on, Dorloran. What about we keep any of their belongings? The stuff they've maybe taken from people. If we were to do this, can we keep that as a reward?
Depends on if it's got value.
Right, it's risk. It's risker, or could lose us out on everything here.
He looks at over to to Balasar, and he nods in agreement. I suppose he looks a little uneasy at the mention of keeping other people's stuff, and he's like, "But I imagine, should you consult the people of the town, I'm sure that they would be more than happy to compensate you in some form or fashion."
I tell you what, old man, you buy me another ale, I'll look into this.
He looks to you and he says, I know you from somewhere. You're the guy. And he starts to go into the conversation of the sleeping giant and the dancing on tables, and this the grand night that paid for everybody's meals, and just all the madness that ensued. And it was quite the talk of the town. And so for him, he recognizes you. He doesn't himself frequent the bars themselves. He comes to the tavern because, you know, it's just kind of a general meeting place. But he looks to you and he says, I'm not sure you need more to drink, Master Dwarf, but
Nonsense.
and so he's at this point he's starting to shift his conversation more affinity toward Balasar, just knowing that he's got kind of brutish strength, and he's, you know, he says, all right, well, you know, should you do something about it? You know, I've heard that there have been a lot of them hanging around the sleeping giant, and in other places. I don't know much more than that, but if you should you run into them, I would be wary.
All right, that's good to know. We'll keep that. I see our other companions entered in here. I wave them over.
Okay.
Give them a rundown of this, and then agreed upon deal of the free items.
He greets a couple of them. We talk to him. You convey this to the others, and then he says, "Oh, and I also heard the other day in the tavern. Have you heard of the old owl well nearby?"
I
He
certainly have it.
looks around. Oh, my apologies. You guys have been pretty new here. Well, there's been a few prospectors that have gone that way, and each one of them has come back very, very, upturned as far as feeling very scared or uneasy about what's going on. And they said that they claimed that they were seeing things move in the dark. They didn't know what they were, but it spooked them enough that none of them want to go there anymore. So I would definitely stay away from that area.
That sounds interesting.
There was an old watchtower there long ago that was used, you know, in the defense of this area, but it's long since been lost ever since the mine collapsed in, you know, the Waveecho Cave, and having it being lost. At this point, we're waiting. I'm sure it's a matter of time before we reclaim that area as well. But for the time being, it seems to be pretty dangerous. So I'd steer clear.
Dangerous. Small chance of success. I like it.
He says, "Well, with that, I need to go get more of the orchard taken care of. Should you need anything else, my orchard is just on the outside of town to the northeast or the northwest. Feel free to visit anytime." And he's mostly nodding towards you, Balasar. But he's at this point a little dismissive of the dwarf, just because he thinks he's completely smashed drunk out of his mind.
I raise my glass up and toast to him as he leaves.
Okay.
All right.
I just ho-hum him away.
Before he leaves, I want to say, excuse me, sir, these are my companions. I overheard you talking about something dangerous in the town. What was it called, or where was that about?
Oh, yes. There's been a few things in this town that have been a little inside of town. Mainly there's these ruffians. You'll know them because they're all sporting the same oily, greasy red cloak. A bunch of hooligans, if you ask me.
Okay.
Prowling the town, making a mess of things. Everywhere they go, they're either pickpocketing or just general riffraff. And if you see them, I would definitely stay away from them. Outside of town, the old Owl Well, there was, an old watchtower there, and it just gives me the creepy vibes. I would.
What direction in town was that? Was that north or the well area?
The old Owl Well. Doesn't tell me a direction. The old Owl Well, I believe, if you want to go to that, if you just follow the miner's trail for a little while, you'll see an outcropping of trees, followed by, where there's a knoll or a hill. You'll know that at that point you'll see a path that is not paved. You can head that direction. Instead of going towards the mine, it'll take you over to this watchtower area. So you can't miss it. Generally, when you get there, you'll see the tower just off in the distance. It's very hard to miss.
Oh, thank you for your help. So maybe down south is what you were saying?
Yes.
Good to know where the trouble is and where to maybe steer clear or go looking for trouble.
He looks you up and down for a moment and he says, "Well, with your strength as I see it, they would be little match for you." He bows and makes his way back out the door. All right, so as the merriments continue, there's other people in the tavern itself that are looking towards you, and just generally, there's the buzz around the town. First and foremost, because Dormorlem's the playboy of the bar, I guess, and then Balasar, just because you don't often see a dragonborn in the city, so they know who you are, and then based on Sildar's recommendation and thanks and basically just general regard for your troop, he looks well on it.
How much have I drunk at this point?
I'd say you're probably down 4 pints. You can put a lot away, but at this point you're getting pretty tipsy.
Okay.
It's probably about 8 o'clock in the evening at this point.
8 o'clock and tipsy.
And we had just come into town that day, right?
Yeah, you've been like day drinking. You guys came into town around noon, 1 o'clock, and then you got to the inn, and everything transpired around between the hours of like 1 o'clock and 8 o'clock.
Okay,
is what all this is in.
I think at this point I want to call it a night and get some rest.
Okay.
Myself.
Good. So you go to go upstairs. Toblin says, sleep well. And so you head up the stairs, you do your thing. He wipes the counter off where you're sitting and puts away some of the cups.
Okay.
Are you just the only one that's going to sleep, Balasar? Anyone else?
Not Venfina, Aurora. She, looking at the different things, she decides that she wants to just sleep outside in the town. She's a ranger. Just because she's used to it. She doesn't like the big towns as much, so she heads out and finds a tree just north of Barthen's Provisions out in the field. Camps under it.
Alright, well, I wish them a good night. I say I'm just gonna look around and talk to some people, look around and find those that are in need of prayers or in need of assistance. Have you guys heard of anyone that maybe is looking for help?
Nathan need to select. Okay, so you start. I guess and that was a question, right? As a person, not in character to a specific person. Is that right?
Yeah, that was just in character to
the
group. Just anyone that may have heard for someone in need of help.
With that, as you're kind of speaking with them, Dormorum heads upstairs, starts to doze off and all that fun. Balasar, yes, Balasar does. Dormorum's at the bar, still getting drunk. Zedek, where were you at again? Did you come back in? You're at the shrine still? Okay. As you're kind of looking around, you're asking right now at this point. It's going to be Clandon, which is Chunky, and Venfina. You'd be talking, and Dormorlum would be the only three that are still in the tavern. So returning to the shrine, Zedek is looking at. This is a little bit earlier. Excuse me. So on the shrine itself, the Shrine of Luck, you can see that it's very well kept. Occasionally you see Sister Grael. She'll come out, nod at you as she just kind of goes and tends to the Shrine of Luck and just the area. You can tell that she's very pious. While the Shrine of Luck is something that had predated her, you can tell that she's very, very serious about what she does. And you know, if there's ever she comes out, if there's ever like weeds or things growing around, you see she pulls them up very gingerly, makes sure that the area is well taken care of. And then she goes back in the house. As for the shrine itself, it's kind of in a semicircle. You see these rocks, these stones. It feels very, not druidic in nature, but it has a very ancient feel to it. The rocks that are laid there are large kind of stones that have been softened over the years from all the different erosion, the wind, the rain, the sun beating down, but they're all very stable. It's not dilapidated in any way, shape, or form. And in the middle, you have an offering plate as well as a statue, a small statue that is meant to kind of convey. At one point, you could tell that it was probably something that was very well crafted and a lot of detail, but it's over the years it's just been eroded, and there's just this kind of a very soft form of kind of a cherub, if you will. But it's kind of representative of the Lady Luck.
Okay.
You see some coins that people will come and they'll set down as offerings.
Do I see anything for ancient blood that...
It's just me, it's kind of... the sound keeps cutting out for me. I don't know if it's cutting out for anybody else.
Let me check my...
Because I hear the beginning part and then it just went...
Is that any better?
Yes, keep talking, see if it keeps going.
Okay. I'm looking for like,
much better.
More of a detail, anything that's definitely from the past that could have been missed or overlooked.
At this point, go ahead and roll a investigation check. Okay, I mean, you're looking around. You see that there's small niches of stones that seem to have been set there because this wall, you can tell, is somewhat hollow from the interior wall to the anterior outside wall. It's not a complete enclosed structure, but it's kind of like I said, it's this kind of shrine that's built up to this square, but the open to the actual night sky above you. And so with that night shining in, it doesn't look, nothing seems out of place. There's no runes or anything that seems particularly out of place or special in it. It's just there.
That's positive. Okay. Then take my totem out and hold it right.
Okay. Then you pray. I know you're praying to. Did you say you're praying to the goddess of luck, or are you just to your own deity, or just to nature community?
To goddess of luck, because being a half-elf, always been a half belief of luck.
Okay. Okay, and setting up that prayer. Go ahead and make a religion check. 16. Okay. So you get the sense that there is a celestial presence here. It does not seem mean in nature, but you feel that your prayer was heard. Nothing immediately happens, but your prayer was heard.
Okay.
And you just kind of feel that you're like, okay, yeah. But as far as like, there's no manifestations or anything other nature at that time.
I make a note that like this is a place for me to return every time we come to this town, and
Okay.
I head off to sleep.
Okay, so you head off. Are you sleeping in the inn? Are you sleeping outside town? Where are you going?
Nope, I'm sleeping out with the animals.
Okay, so he's gonna go sleep with the animals. Perfect. And then in the meantime, as far as everybody that's talking, Dormorlam, he has no idea, at least other than just explaining. Dormorlam, did you want to tell anybody about your encounter?
Okay, it's a no.
Nathan?
Sorry.
That's okay.
I'm back. Yay.
So you're did you want to tell anybody about your adventures, or are you just drinking?
I'm drinking and I'm just finding someone to start talking about adventures of back when I was in caves or attacked by goblins. All the fine adventures I had as a youth. Trying to get some free ale out of these people.
Okay, so at this point, most of the people, after a while, they get the sense that you're after just kind of ale. In other words, they get that kind of a. Go ahead and roll a deception check. An 8? Yeah, they see right through it.
7.
That you're smashed drunk, and they're like, "Oh, this guy's an alcoholic, and he's just trying to bum off me." You talk with Venfina. You talk with Chunky, which he's playing as Clandon. Clandon heads off, going to bed. Venfina, you didn't get anything helpful out of Dormorlum. As far as it, the town seems pretty quiet. There's nothing kind of going on outside. So, what do you want to do?
I will head to bed.
Okay.
Indian.
So she goes ahead. She heads up, retires for the evening. And at this point, the bar does last call. Everything goes to bed. The town kind of quiets. The small logs crackling on the fire, burn down to embers. And before you know it, the sun's up. The warmth hits your face. For those of you who are sleeping outside earlier than the rest. And the rest of you sleeping warmly, wake to the smell of wood burning on the fire, and just the sound of the town waking up. You hear the smithy in the distance.
I go on my G.
Okay. Okay, so you go ahead and forage for your breakfast. You go ahead and do a survival check for me real quick. Okay, so as far as like more substantial food, you didn't find too much, but you did find berries. You found some small roots and other things that you're used to eating in other areas. But the stuff that you usually really enjoy to find and eat, it's not to be had in this particular area. The stuff that you're used to north of Neverwinter, in the Neverwinter Wood.
Okay.
Okay, everybody else?
I'm coming downstairs, I'm ready for a big breakfast. I order a giant hearty breakfast, dragonborn size, of course.
Okay.
Start chowing away.
Okay, start chowing down. People are calling.
I asked about my companions, wondered where they went.
No need to ask for me. I'm right here still.
Okay.
Been there
So-
all night.
Right. So at this point, Chunky, are you? I'm gonna assume Clandon probably slept in the inn.
Sure. I don't really know. He's a ranger, but
Mhm.
I don't know. What
He's
his
pretty
chances
gregarious.
are.
He think of him as Aragon, but more outgoing.
Strider.
Yep.
Yeah, I slept in the inn.
Okay. So you come down. You see everybody. Venfina, I assume you come down as well. Everybody has breakfast. Go ahead. For those who slept in the inn, how much did we say last time for the night? 1 second. I gotta check my notes.
And we're fully healed up, rested. And
Yes,
everything.
that was a long rest. Nothing happened in the evening. Everybody, if you have any hit dice that you're missing or anything else, Dora Morlum, I believe you had some missing. Everybody's back to full health. You have full uses of everything. And yes, you're ready for the current thing. Zedek, when you're finished foraging, did you want to come in? I would imagine it'd be probably till about 9 o'clock in the morning. You're pretty used to foraging out there.
I'll read.
Okay, so you rejoin. Everybody's in the inn. You converse. You're talking a little bit. And at this point, everybody starts. You get your stuff together. Everybody is about to leave in that area. Aurora, she goes down. She talks to Jeffrey Foggett, and gets her arrows, her bundle of arrows. There are 20 of them, which I'm going to put in her thing right now. These are goose feather arrows. A bundle of arrows. There we go. Okay, so 1 bundle. All right, got it. So, you guys setting out. You're starting to walk. Where are you guys going? Which direction are you wanting to head toward? Are you wanting to? The 2 that you remember from the night before is that you heard that there was a bunch of ruffians in town that were causing trouble for people, as well as a possible site of interest with weird things going on at the Owl Well. You want to go through towards the Owl Well?
The Sleeping Giant Inn.
Oh, Sleeping Giant Inn? Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so as you step out, you see Balasar start striding towards the Sleeping Giant. Do you see anything to anybody else, or I assume, what does everybody else do?
I want to lure him along, you know, I'm going to make him feel that hangover.
Okay. So you slap him heartily on the back. You see him kind of wince in pain as it jolts his brain.
It's time to go have some fun.
Okay.
No.
Alright, so...
I'm gonna just quietly follow behind them. I'm
Okay.
not saying anything.
Okay, so just kind of piously walking down the streets.
Oh, where are you dragging me off to, Balasar?
We're going back to where you did dishes last night.
Oh, fun.
And then I don't know his story about what happened. I just know he was doing dishes over there.
Yeah.
Right? Because I was in bed before he told people. So.
Yep. So basically, really, he didn't tell a whole lot. It was just basically that there was brawl fights, and he wanted to know more about other people's stories so he could coax more liquor out of them. So heading down that direction, you notice that there's not very many people on the street. It's kind of barren. It's a lot quieter at the closer you get to the Sleeping Giant than it normally is. But otherwise, you just keep plodding down the road. So we have Dora Morlum, Balasar front, Benfina in the back or in the middle.
Oh, I'm just following them because
Okay.
I suspect they will be headed towards trouble.
Cause trouble. Okay.
So as we're going along, I'm just going to start calling out for the red
Cloaks.
Yes.
those people. I'm just going to start calling them out, you know, taunting them to come out. And
What are you doing, Balasar? Shut up! You're giving me a headache.
Okay. So as you're going, you don't immediately notice anything. You just keep walking. Go ahead and roll a passive perception check. Dora Morlum and Balasar.
You don't roll passive perception. You want me to?
I'm sorry. What's your passive perception? I should say.
11.
11. Okay. Dora Morlum, what is your passive perception?
10.
Okay. You guys don't notice anything. You keep walking.
At a disadvantage.
Being hungover. Benfina, what is yours?
Mine's 10.
Yours is 10 as well? Yes. Okay. So you guys don't notice anything. You keep going. You approach the Sleeping Giant, which normally at this point in the day it's usually pretty quiet because most people are out doing mining and things like that. You don't make anything of it. But as you reach for the door, you hear a voice behind you. And he says, well, look who's here. I thought I taught you a lesson. And when you turn around, you see...
I recognize that voice.
You see what the one that you remember is Jack, which is kind of one of the underlings of the guy that you killed, Jackin. Or I'm sorry, not Jackin. His name was Shanks. So the Shanks with the crooked nose, he was dead, but his buddy Jack, who's a human, you see Balon with him, folding his arms, has a little bit of a not really stitching, but just basically just some kind of medicinal thing to fix the clobber in the side of his head you gave him. And then Jack and his other guys by him, just all of them come up, and then another guy that you don't really recognize. All of them wearing that same oily red cloak, just coming up behind you, and he says, "Look, it's a little litter of puppies, come for the taking. We ought to teach you a lesson."
Lesson? We already taught you one once before.
Oh, the only reason you got away was because the innkeeper interfered.
Not what your leader was like last time I learned about. Blah blah.
Now,
blah.
don't you talk about Shanks that way. Shanks didn't deserve what you gave him. You got what's coming to you. And everybody at that point, let's roll for initiative. Anyone who's there, which is pretty much everybody.
Are Aurora and Zedek still outside doing their thing?
No, Zedek returned, and Aurora, she is off. She's not with you immediately.
She's down south.
But she was down south getting the stuff from the woodworkers, so she was gonna rejoin with you guys.
Where's my initiative? Because we don't have our character.
So that's a good question.
I don't know what the button is.
How'd you do that, Balasar?
Tell you what, let me.
Right above your hit points.
Yeah, right above your hit point. So click on your car. Yeah, but it's not putting it.
Class and speed.
I'm gonna have to put these in manually. So go ahead and roll those, and then I'll put them in.
I am very hungover.
Preston, if you right-click our icons and hit Add Turn, it should take our initiative roll we just did. Should.
Right click.
Yeah. It should.
It gives me a
Click
typical
our
Chrome.
icon. Our icons that would be on a map.
You have to put our icons on this map.
If you have a icon tray that you use for just
Oh.
our token.
Maybe. Token, got it.
Ah, there I am.
I'm just gonna drop y'all on here real quick. Make my life easier. You're giants! Zedek, you just stepped on a house! So I'm just gonna put y'all here. Y'all know that you're in that area. So just click on your person and go ahead and roll for initiative, and I'll just use your original values.
No, don't use my original values.
Chunky Fandom.
Okay.
Oh, you want us to do it again? So
Yeah, go ahead and click it. I'm just being lazy because then at least it assigns it to your token and it makes it easier.
I got the exact same.
Nice.
I rolled a 25.
Benfina 10. Okay, so I've got 3 of them on there. We need to have.
Wait, I'm trying to figure out all my
click on your dude. Your dude is the one.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah. Okay.
It's only a little
Man.
bit better.
Man. You guys are rolling hard today.
I'm gonna cry.
The first
I'm
one.
hungover.
Why'd you have us roll it again?
Because it's putting it back in. I'm just using the original values that were in there.
We gotta give it.
There you go. There's my original value of a 2.
Alright, and I'm gonna roll for these guys real quick.
And how many of them are there?
There are 3 of them currently. Alright, I'm sorry, there's 4 of them. There's one you don't know who he is.
Okay.
And they're rolling like that. I'm screwed.
Dun, dun, dun.
Okay.
Here I am rolling a 2 and they got a 19.
Right. Okay, so this is in the streets. What little people who were in the streets at this point have all just vacated. They see what's going on. They've seen the red cloaks. They saw that they were walking around with purpose and malice in their eyes. They know something's going down. So everybody, as far as the streets are concerned, you don't have anybody in the way. The only thing that's in the vicinity that may, I guess, be in the line of fire, so to speak, would be the inn that you're just standing at the doorstep of. So at this point, Balon, you can tell that he did not like, as a half-orc, looking at you with just kind of a snargle-tooth, did not appreciate what you did. And since, at this point, right now, Balasar and Dormorlum, you're at the front of the actual inn, or of the inn. Zedek, Clandon, and Benfina, you're not quite to the inn. You're a little bit behind. They were, Balasar obviously walking with purpose to mess with the dwarf. You guys are sitting probably about 20 feet off from where they're standing. But he steps forward. Balon, he's just going to this time he's not going to try his haymaker. He's just going to come straight at you.
As an FYI, I did roll a 21 on my.
Oh.
You can change it if you highlight your numbers.
Oh, I missed you. I'm sorry. Okay, so before Balon, Balasar, what do you do?
Okay, I'm gonna pull out my glaive and how much room is between the street and the houses? Because it's pretty long.
Right.
But,
So as far as what you're doing, the street itself, this is a big, deep, rutted track street where you could fit 2 carts abreast as they go back and forth. It's very much a utilitarian road or street. And so for what you're at, you're standing, about probably 5-10 feet away from the giant, the sleeping giant, and you're in the street, and they are standing probably about in the middle of the road.
And how far?
That'd be about just under 10 feet. So we'll just say 10 feet to be even.
Okay, well, I'm gonna take my glaive and stab it out then, since I can reach 10 feet.
Okay, and so the first one in the front is Jack. He seems to be the guy that took the vacuum of power, ran with it. So you're gonna go ahead and hit Jack. Go ahead and roll your attack.
Okay, 17.
Okay, and that is 17. You said?
Yes.
Okay, I was in the wrong place. Yes, that does hit. Go ahead and roll for damage.
8.
Okay, so 8. So you come at him. Describe how you go at him with you just thrusting with the glaive.
Yep. I take it, I pull it out off my back there, and I stab it out with one hand. Well, 2 hands technically, right into midsection.
Okay. So you go ahead and you stab it. He's not quite prepared. He doesn't understand. He didn't realize that. I mean, you were walking together, but he didn't realize that you were buddy with Dora Morlum. He's taking a little bit aback. He takes it into the side, but he kind of glances out of the way a little bit. But it's still, you get him squarely right in the side. Nothing vital. You pull back. Do you have any minor actions or bonus actions you like to do?
No, that's good. I'm just stay where I am,
Okay.
about 10 feet away. So.
All right, Balon. At this point, he's hell bent on Dora Morlum. He doesn't care who you stabbed his buddy. He's more intent on
Bring it.
on basically restoring his former title of being a ruffian. So he's going to use his multi-attack using his short sword. He's going to come at you first, slashing, and then second, he's going to come back at you with the second one. What's your armor class?
11.
Okay, 11. So that doesn't sound right. What kind of armor are you wearing?
Hold on.
I don't think that's right.
Inventory.
You're wearing
armor,
mail
leather.
Leather. Okay, yes, that is right. All right, so he goes ahead and he slashes at you. Both hit. You take on the first one. So that the first one hits. So you take 8 piercing damage from the first slash. And the second slash,
Better be
it hits
4 or
again.
under.
Yep, 3. So you take another 3 damage. Did you restore your health?
I've always had 13.
Have what level are you
I've
at?
never. 2.
Doesn't. I don't think you have all your hit points for your hit dice.
I have 2 hit
So
dice.
when you get to level 2, you should roll one of your hit dice plus your Constitution modifier. Go ahead and do that real quick, so that way you're not dead.
Hit dice 8, so 11.
Add 8 to your total, and 8 to your current health. And wait, was that including your?
No, 11 is Constitution.
With your Constitution modifier, okay. Add that to your total and your current health, and that'll be your your
so
permanent.
24.
Yes. So you should be. That sounds a lot more. I'm like level 2 and that much. That seems really low. You're gonna die.
Oh.
That's how much points I have.
I know, right? And he's a spellcaster.
Okay, and then I just took 11.
Okay. Yes. So
And
total, that's how many you got. So he hits you pretty hard, and he just grunts at you and just like puts his arms down, his shoulders down, just kind of like a football player ready to take a tackle. So.
Can I just egg him on? Say, is that all you got?
and then with that, he gets a little bit more irritated. So he's going to go ahead and attack at Balasar, because this guy doesn't know who you are as a dwarf. He saw you attack Jack, and so he's going to come after you. He's going to attack with his short sword. 7 does not hit. So he slashes at you. He's a little newer with his blade. You can tell he's not quite as sure as the other guys. He's going to attack again using the same short sword. 21. I'm guessing that hits. So he hits you. The second one, it's more of a wild sleeve. He's swinging just wildly at you, and the last one just barely kind of grazes you across the forearm, and you get this little gash. Take 3 piercing damage. Okay. At that point, he finishes his turn. Jack, seeing the same thing that's going on, seeing the glaive that just got stabbed in his chest. He isn't quite able to pull out his short sword just yet. He is going to still take a multi-attack on you, but he's going to do it with his fists. And he's going to swing at you for the first one. $15 hit?
Yep. Yes.
Okay. And where... Oh, gosh dang it, I closed it.
1d4
One sec.
plus your strength.
Yeah, I had his thing open, but I closed it. All right, there we go. All right, there we go. So he's going to roll just 1d4, and he has no strength modifier. He punches you once.
Okay.
He's going to swing at you again. He's going to punch with one, then he's going to try and come back at you with another haymaker. 16 hits.
Yep.
Same thing, 1d4, and another one. He's just like, poof, poof, and upon hitting on impact, he realizes just how dense in thick corded arms and strength that this Dragonborn is. He looks a little bit stunned, but he's still pretty intent on bloodlust. Venfina.
What's the distance and arrangement?
Right now, you guys are sitting about 20 feet back from them. You can see them. They're in the middle of the road. You see, they're in plain sight. There's nothing obstructing your view or anything else like that. They're just basically to your left as you're walking to the west towards Trenzadar Manor. You see Dor Morlum to the north, and then you have the ruffians to the south in the middle of the road. But now they're more like on the north side of the road, just because that's where the scuffle's taking place. What's up?
Nothing.
Okay.
Okay, I'm going to shoot. Which one is the leader, Jack?
Jack's the guy who talked first. He was in the front.
Is he kind of do I assume him to be more of the leader?
You can tell by his demeanor and the way he walks and kind of carries himself, and the way the other guys were kind of like, yeah, just doing the whole bully thing, standing behind him. You could tell that he's either the leader or at least higher up than the guys behind him.
Alright, I'm gonna shoot my crossbow at him.
Okay, go ahead and roll for an attack. Okay, heavy crossbow. 17 definitely hits. Go ahead and roll for damage. Jiminy Christmas! Okay, so you see as Balasar goes in, he sticks his glaive, pulls it out, and as he starts pulling it out, Jackin just takes wild swings at him. Punch, punch, looks up at him a little bit in despair. Balasar, you're looking him down in the eye, and all you see is this arrow, this bolt, go straight through his temple, in one side, out the other side.
Oh.
And you just see him kind of like... and then he crumples to the ground.
And then I just shout. Or I don't really need to shout. They're only like 10 feet in front of me, right?
Correct.
Okay, I just say, Balasar, Dormorum, got your backs.
Got your back. You'll put an arrow through my head.
Clandon? Chunky, what would you like to do?
That's a good question.
He has a longbow, and I think he has daggers, I believe, for his attacks. I might be wrong.
And I'm assuming they're not the cool ones like, what's his name? Where I can throw them and they come back to my belt?
No, you can throw them, yes, but they won't come back to your belt. Let me double check. Yes, you have 2 daggers on the longbow.
How far away am I?
Go ahead and mark down that you used 1 bolt. You are currently 20 feet away, so you are at full advantage. There's no obstructions. You're all kind of walking spread out. It's not a really very cramped street.
So I can't really tell who's who.
Right now, don't worry about what's on the map itself. You just know that you are to the east of the combatants. They're on the west. There's like a straight line from where you're standing.
Okay. I'll just shoot the
Closest
one to
yeah.
me with
Okay.
my longbow.
So the next closest one is going to be Jackin. He was on the left-hand side closest to you. So go ahead and roll for damage or roll for attack. These dang freaking bows, man. Yeah. You're gonna kill all my NPCs. Stop it. Go ahead and roll for damage.
Save me one at least.
Seriously. Crabby. Last time you guys were like stabbing, doing like 4 damage, and these guys are like, Legolas, bring him down. Poof, done. So you hit him, and Jackin, not knowing your presence, obviously, so he does not have his guard up. You shoot an arrow, and all he feels is in his left shoulder something just sink deep in his shoulder blade. And what? And he looks over towards you, confused.
It's spinning around.
You want to do any minor actions?
Can I?
You can do minor actions or movement.
I don't know what I have available as a minor action, to be honest.
You have a bonus action, which you can't use on that last one, but just for future notice. I don't think he's put it in here yet. You do have a spell that you can use as a bonus action that when you attack something, you can enchant it, and it'll do, I think it's Hail of Thorns. Double checking. Yes, Hail of Thorns, he does have it. So if you go to the spells page, he has 2 slots available that he can cast these at.
Okay.
And he can do Hunter's Mark or Hail of Thorns. Hail of Thorns is a bonus action which allows him to shoot, and it'll do a 5-foot AoE damage to the people around him and a little bit of extra damage to whoever he hits. So just know that that's there.
If I Hunter's Mark someone right now, I can use that when I attack that person next turn.
That is correct. You could use that on the next turn. If let's say in theory you called that beforehand, you can always take your bonus action before your action. So, but for now, yes, you can.
Next turn, or...
No, you can do it now. It won't matter either way. But that'll increase your damage 1d6 to whoever you target.
Yeah, oh, I think I just got kicked out.
Oh no! He's gone! He's gone!
DC.
Come back!
I'm coming. Okay, so yeah, I'll hunt Hunter's Mark whoever I just shot.
Okay, so you're going to go ahead and Jackin is Hunter's Mark. Does that one have a DC on it? I'm looking at it.
Hold on, let me pull my character sheet back up.
I don't think it has anything they can dodge. It's just there.
Yeah, I don't think it is either. Okay, yes, so you mystically mark it. Yep, so he is now marked.
Okay. And then, since I'm a ranger, I'd probably like to sort of try and hide a bit. Since it's not,
Okay, there's not a lot to hide around where you're at, because you guys are away from some of the buildings. You're in the trees. There's a little bit of shrubs, but there's not a huge place. You could edge up against the shrubs, against the side of the road, but they're not going to give you much cover.
I'll do my best to be out of sight, out of mind.
Okay, so you pull out. He sees you run over to the bushes for just basic cover, just kind of obscuring vision, not necessarily like climbing into a tank and getting all that armor kind of thing. But he sees where you went, but none of the rest of them did. At this point, you're obscured from their vision, but he knows you're in that area. Okay, so next, Jackin. He, after having been shot, he sees what's going on there. He is going to take this opportunity. He's going to draw his sword as a minor action, and he's going to go ahead and he's going to attack the immediate threat in front of him, which is Balasar. So he goes ahead and he makes a multi-attack using his short sword.
Yep.
And what's your AC?
It is a 13.
13, so it does not miss. So you hit, but just the sheer strength and the angle that it came at on your scales, just you hear this as it scatters or just comes off. No damage whatsoever. He goes ahead and he takes another one as a wild blow. His left arm bleeding profusely. He comes at you. He stilling himself for this blow, comes down furiously, and brings the blade back and just tries to ram it right up into your chest region, or in your stomach region. And 24, I'm assuming a natural 20 hits. So that does 4 plus 5. It's going to be 9. 9 damage. That's piercing. So he goes ahead and does that. He sticks it in you. He kind of gives you a grin and like tilts his head a little bit as he stares at you, and then he pulls it out. Just kind of really satisfied with he felt the gravity of that blow. So he's gonna do that. That's the end. I closed it again. Gosh dang it. So at that point, he goes ahead and he steps back. Zedek, what are you gonna do? Dormorlum, you are on deck.
Do I have minus?
Currently, from where you're standing, knowing your nature, you're probably kind of walking a little bit behind Clandon, and who has now pushed himself towards the northern side of the road. You have Venfina, who was a little bit further south from you, so you would be basically just behind her. Immediately to your right would be her, about 5 feet away from you, and then 20 feet in front of you, you're going to see 3 of the Red Band ruffians in the center of the road.
Okay. I think I'm gonna do is do a charge transformation.
Okay. Okay.
And try to tackle somebody with intimidation.
Okay. So go ahead and you go into your form. So go ahead and make note that you are in your direwolf form and that you cannot cast spells or whatever. And do you have those? Did I give you those stats? Okay, perfect. So go ahead and who do you want to attack the closest one? You said you want to try and grapple him to the ground.
Yep.
Okay, so you're going to do a contest of strength. Is it the closest one to you?
Yes.
Okay, so that is going to be Jackin. And he's currently engaged with Dormal Balasar. So go ahead and we're going to roll a strength check, but I want you to roll it with advantage because he is currently engaged with somebody else.
Okay. 7 now plus.
We're basically doing a contest of strength.
Yeah. My strength in wolf form is 17, but I don't know what pluses.
Oh, that's okay. 17 definitely goes over. He rolled a 12, so.
Well, hold on. It's a 1d20 plus your strength modifier. That's what you need to roll.
Correct. And I'm trying to figure out my wolf form's strength modifier versus.
Yours. Let's see.
17 is a plus 3.
Yes.
Yes. So if on that sheet it says strength plus 3, then yes.
Well, it doesn't give me a plus. It just says 7.
Oh,
so it's plus 3.
Yeah. So let's see.
So the 10 and 11 is 0. 12, 13 is 1.
So I rolled a
15 is 2.
Okay. All right. So you hit that. You rolled a 15. Yes, you do. You're able to grapple him to the ground. So now he is considered grappled. His speed is 0, and he is unable to move until he is able to break that grapple. Do you have any minor actions?
I wanted to do a growl. They should keep it down.
Okay, trying to growl. All right, so he's definitely surprised. Where the heck did this giant direwolf come from? Looks at you with a little bit wild-eyed. Go ahead and now, Dormorlum, what are you gonna do?
I take out my warhammer and go for Balon.
Okay, so seeing Balon coming at you, you pull out your warhammer. Go ahead and roll for an attack. Is it just a normal wolf? Okay, I'll address it a little after. Okay, so 18 definitely hits. Go and roll for damage. I don't know. We'll have to look at it after. Okay. So 7 bludgeoning damage, and that's towards Balon. So you go ahead and you bring your warhammer back. You know, remembering the brawl last time and just the joy of battle. You start coming at him. Thwack! Clocked him right across the jaw, and you see just the spittle just out of his mouth with a little bit of blood, and it hits the dirt in the road before you. He's still not down, but he definitely felt that blow to his chin. And we're what was in your hands at the time? You had the warhammer. What else do you have equipped at the time? Is it just your warhammer?
Just my warhammer.
Okay, I'm gonna take the lower damage for now, but next, what you want to do is, whenever you have that, do you see how it gives you the 2 numbers? You want to say, okay, I'm going to use this 2-handed and hit him. Otherwise, I'm just going to assume you're using it 1-handed. Okay.
Wait. Oh, so what's 1-handed? What's 2-handed on that?
1-handed is on the left. 2-handed is on the right. You can roll. One can roll higher than the other. The only difference is that whatever you call before you do it is what really matters.
Yeah, bludgeoning. So, whatever. Okay.
Yeah. So for now, it's just going to be the 7 bludgeoning damage. It's still a big hit to him. That's just so you know, when you're using those kind of weapons are a little weird because you can do 2 different types of damage to him.
Gotcha.
So just make sure that's there, because otherwise, you know, you can have a shield or you can dual wield stuff like that. So,
Gotcha.
Okay, so he takes a clobbering to the face. He's still standing. Do you have any minor actions or bonus actions you want to take?
Pull my warhammer out of the dirt.
Okay. So the little bit of blood on it, you kind of flick it, and the rest of the blood that had come off from smacking him in the face, just, you know, a little bit spatters on the ground. Okay, now it's Balasar.
Okay, and Jackin's the one currently being held down by the wolf, right?
Jackin is grappled, and he is also hunter's marked. Yes.
Okay. So,
You don't know he's hunter's marked, but he's grappled. Yes.
So how far? Balin is still in front of me, right?
Balon's, he kind of went past you to the left towards Dormorlum, and then in front of you is the dead body of Jack, and then you have Jackin, who's grappled, to the front and to the right of you, and then immediately in front of you, a little bit to your left, is the unknown guy who slashed at you with the sword.
All right, I'm gonna turn towards the guy who slashed me with the sword. I'm gonna go into a rage here.
Okay.
And I'm gonna call my might smashing my glaive.
Okay. Go ahead and roll for an attack.
By the way, I'm also gonna do my reckless attack
Okay.
there, which basically gives me advantage on my attack roll.
Okay. Perfect. So go ahead and roll with advantage.
Right, 18.
Okay, so 18. Yes, that definitely hits. Go ahead and roll for damage.
And this is 8.
8. Question mark? Oh, because it's adding the reckless attack?
It's adding that rage.
Oh, the 8. Okay, I got it. So that is 8 damage. Okay, so he goes ahead and would describe how you take your attack on him.
All right, so I look down at the blood, then I go and try to slice him from shoulder to hip.
Okay. All right, shoulder to the hip. So he deflects some of the blow, but you're a good 2-3 feet taller than this dude, and just your sheer amount of just strength and barbarian rage through the tunnel vision that you have in your eyes. You come down on him and you push and you basically scrape past his sword that he has up trying to parry it, and straight down front to back. He's still standing, but you see the shock set in on his face, like, oh my gosh, like, battle is so much more intense than I thought it would be. And do you have any minor actions you want to take?
I want to step back 5 feet or so, just get back away a little bit out of range here.
Okay.
And just an FYI, any attacks against me until my next turn.
Advantage? Okay. I will note that. All right, so Balon, he is still well engaged in with Dormorlum. He's going to go ahead and release another flurry of multi-attack on you. Bam, bam, bam.
Oh boy.
You think I'd learn not to close that freaking window. We're going to get you some heavier armor. So first one hits, that's 8 piercing damage. So he comes down, and how are you looking? What's your health?
I'm at 5.
5K. So he's going to attack you again.
I asked that and then.
Well, no, he's going to attack you either way. I just need to know how it's going to play out. So the 10 misses. So he comes down. He's just using his sword, and it looks almost puny in his hand as a large half orc. So he swings at you. The first one just catches you right down on the front of your helmet, drags it down, gets you right across near the eye and the face, and then down on your chest. So you get this nice little gash from him. The other one, he swings at you, but he overestimates how tall you are, and just goes right over your head. Because at this point, he's just frothing at the mouth, wants to get blood. And he's like, "Stop moving, it'll be much easier on you." So at this point, he's done. The guy who's a little bit shaken, he looks at it, kind of looks around, seeing what's going on, knows that Balasar, seeing the guy that's dead next to him. Okay, so he steals himself and comes back at Balasar for another multi-attack.
Okay, with advantage, by the way.
With advantage, yes. Okay, so 19. I would say that hits.
Yes.
All right, so he does 7 piercing damage. With your rage, do you have that damage, right, for piercing?
I think I have resistance, bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing.
Yes. Okay, so you have resistance. So that's half damage. That's going to be... Is it rounded up or rounded down?
I don't know. I can't remember which way it goes for these things.
I know it's down for everything, but I don't know for damage. Let's just go rounded down until I can verify. So at this point, it's going to be the 3 damage.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's going to come at you again. And he's just like, swinging. 17 hits.
Yeah.
For another 5, that's going to be 2. So he's just like, thunk, and then the last one, he's swinging at your throat, trying to get at you. He gets a little bit, scraped on you, but you're not. Your dragon scales are much too heavy for his little puny arm.
I'm feeling pretty ragged here, though.
Right?
You guys are all beating up on me.
Right. So at this point, Jack is dead. Why is he still on there? Deleted. Venfina, what do you want to do? Clandon, you're on deck.
Okay, so we have 3 remaining bad people.
Yes, one of them is grappled on the ground. So you would have... he's also prone, so you're going to have disadvantage on any ranged attack on him. And then Balon is up doing fisticuffs with Doromorum. And then you see Balasar a little bit... Balasar's closer to the middle of the road. Or not really the middle. He's on the side of the road engaging with another guy that you're not sure who he is.
So... I would like to... I don't know, roll for intimidation or something. I want to shout at these guys. Because I'm the one that killed Jack, right?
That can...
Or I damage... No, the one that's dead, Jack. Or was it Chunky that helped me kill him after?
Chunky... No. Balasar and was fighting with him, and you shot him in the head by yourself. Clandon shot a different guy and did a hunter's mark.
Okay.
They're all looking pretty ragged, but as far as they're all standing and still fighting.
Well, either way, I want to roll for intimidation and try to shake these guys down for information. So say
it's not too late.
It's not too late. If you don't want to die, you can
beg us for mercy.
Okay, roll for intimidation for me, please.
Not very intimidating there.
One approach.
Oops. Did I click the multi-attack? Why is there more dice on there? 6. Okay, so you yell. You say that they don't pay any mind. They're just so into the fight that your words fall on deaf ears. They're all very much engrossed. Do you have any bonus actions you want to do? The intimidation would have been your action. or be considered your action this turn because
Shouting at
because
them is
because you're
not-
trying to basically stop the conflict using an action versus just talking to somebody. But you have bonus actions if you want to take any, and movement that you can also use. Ouch.
My lay on of hands consists of
Lay on hands is a bonus action, I believe. It should say in the action casting time.
doesn't have that.
1 second while I verify.
So,
All right.
Otherwise, Oracle Google.
Consulting, yeah, D&D Beyond. I'm waiting for it to pull up. My internet's a little slow. All right. Paladin. Lay on hands.
That's me. Am I going or are you?
No, sorry.
Second.
Paladin, not Clandon. I'm sorry. Close. All right. So pool plus time times 5 of the action numbered creature as an action. It is a full action. It is not a bonus action.
really, my intimidation was not an action.
Mhm.
Alright, well, I'm going to cast a bonus action then.
Okay.
I'm gonna cast Divine Might.
Okay. So go ahead and is there a DC on that? 2 melee attacks. I'm gonna refresh it real quick because it's being funny. All the webcams went black.
I can hit a creature. Oh, I have to.
Okay. So you have to hit him already.
Okay, I'm going to cast Shield of Smite on Balasar.
Shield of Smite and Balasar, okay?
I'm
What?
sorry, Shield of
Faith.
Faith.
Shield of Faith, okay? Go ahead and what's that? What does that mean for him? So he can
You can
mark it
have
down.
+2 to AC.
All right, you have +2 to your AC for the duration for 10 minutes.
Thank you. All right.
Okay.
Got it.
Concentration, parchment with a bit of holy text. I'm going to assume that you have something like that, maybe inside of your
Yeah, in my
holy
pack.
mark or your pack or something. So you go ahead and you do that. And Balasar, as you're standing there, you just feel this warm glow. It's almost like the sun is just shining right on you, and it's just like a beautiful warm day, and you just feel comfortable all of a sudden.
Fantastic.
Feeling all warm and fuzzy.
I feel a woman so fuzzy. All right, Clandon, go. What you got? And Jackin's gonna be on deck.
So you said
Zedek
one
after that.
guy, Hunter's Mark, is on the ground.
He is on the ground, grappled. He will be at disadvantage if you try and shoot at him because he is prone.
So can I move my Hunter Mark to one of the other guys?
Not until they're dead.
Let me see. It's concentration
I get it.
until spell ends.
It's when that person's
You can
dead
use a
that
bonus
I can-
action on a subsequent turn of yours mark to mark a new creature if they drop to 0.
Yeah, that person.
So I think you have to kill them in order for that hunter's mark to be moved. So currently, you're still within striking distance if you wanted to run up and like stab him with a dagger. But if you shoot with your bow at him specifically, it's going to be a disadvantage.
So does Hunter's Mark work with daggers?
Yeah, it works with anything.
Okay.
You do 1d6 on anything. Just you, though. No one else.
Well, I'll approach him. So if he's on the ground, I get advantage attacking with daggers, right?
Correct. You will roll with advantage, and you'll add the extra damage to it. Because he's prone and he's grappled. So it's like super advantage. Except you only still get to roll just twice.
So I only get one dagger attack, right?
Yes, because your guy doesn't have like an offhand or a rogue type ability.
Not yet. So, because he has 2 daggers, I was just curious.
I mean, you can have them both in both hands, but he's only gonna be able to attack with one at a time.
Okay.
Unless he has a
looks like they're
specific
the
skill for it.
same Either way, so.
Yep.
I will attack with dagger.
Okay, so you run up, you approach. I'm
Wow.
gonna put you over here by
Even.
Zedek. So you definitely hit him. Go ahead and roll for damage and make sure and roll an extra 1d6 afterwards for extra damage on it.
Okay.
All right. So, Jackin, laying on the ground. You don't even have to roll. He's grappled. The wolf's sitting in front of him. You approach him kind of around the other side of the wolf because the wolf's covering most of the bottom half of his body. How do you want to go at him? You've got the top half of his torso at your disposal.
So I
Literally.
go for the jugular.
Okay, so you go ahead and just slit his throat.
Yep.
Dispatch of him. So Clandon
Misery.
walks down. He looks up, not wanting to look, not necessarily looking him in the eyes. It just kind of like when you're doing a mercy killing for a deer, and just ends his life quickly. So he is dead.
D-E-D, dead.
And at this point, you can use your bonus action to move that hunter's mark somewhere else.
I'll move it to who's the healthiest?
From your perspective, they both look pretty much the same, but the half orc is much larger than the other quarry.
I'll go after him.
Okay, so you go ahead and mark the Balon, the half orc.
Yeah, how close am I to him?
Right now you guys are more in the middle of the road. He has pushed Doromorlum basically up to the sleeping giant, and they're basically fighting on the porch, if you will. And so you're probably 5 feet, maybe. No, I'm sorry. You're not in striking distance, so you're gonna be about 10 feet away from him.
And the other guy?
He is about the same to your right. Balasar was engaging him on the
So is there
edge of the
a
road.
direction I can go to get a little further from both of them?
Yes, if you go straight south, there's nobody there, and you will not have any attack of opportunity because nobody's next to you.
Okay, I want to go as far as I can without losing sight of the 100 mark.
Okay, so you're about 20 feet off, just on the other side of the road to the south.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, so Jackin, he just died. Zedek, what do you want to do? And Doromorlum, you're on deck.
The guy was on deck. But he was.
Yep. So to your left, you see one of the guys is fighting with Balasar, and then behind you, you have a half orc. Both are within striking distance of you.
Going for the orc, the bite leg.
Okay.
Trip.
Go ahead and hit the bite, and do it with advantage because you're flanking him, and he knows you're there, but he's at disadvantage. So
Okay.
that was Tim again. Tim needs something, but I
Oh,
can't answer
bam.
now. Okay, so you go to bite at him. He sees what's going on. He lifts his leg up and kind of looks down at you and sneers, and then stomps his foot down. You pull your head out of the way.
If you're a halfling, though, you could reroll that one.
Oh, I can.
Okay, go ahead and reroll it.
Being a halfling in my wild form, is that
Yes, it'll still carry over. I still would consider your
my luck?
feats and traits, that stuff sticks.
Still not good, but.
Okay. Yeah, still same thing. Same thing. You go at him again. He lifts his foot up and stomps, and he's just getting kind of frustrated. He's like, "What? No. Get away!" So they're kind of kicking at you. Do you want to use any more of your movement or any bonus actions?
Can't try again.
Okay. Okay. So now we're gonna roll to Doromorlum. You now have Balon right in front of you. To your left, Balasar's getting pushed up on the porch as well, with the single unknown guy's name pushing up against him. Both of you got a guy in front of you.
Yep, I still go after Balon. It's me and him.
All right, Balon, go ahead and roll for damage. How are you doing it?
Well, got 14 for roll. And
That
this
does
is,
hit.
This is two-handed.
Okay, so you go ahead and you put your arms back. You're going Happy Gilmore style.
Yes, I am. Straight up between the legs.
All right, how you want to do it? Straight up in the legs.
Straight
As
up
you guys
between the
see
legs.
it, you just see behind this. Your guy has a beard, correct?
Yes, he has a very
Okay,
large beard.
so he's got this big bushy beard, and right below it, you see like a Santa Claus-like grin, so happy and jovial, seeing it this opportunity, and you swing up hard with that warhammer, right, and you're pretty much eye level with this guy's crotch. So I mean, you're just, thoof, and all you hear is this, and he just crumples the ground, immediately dead. You hit him so hard. You hit him so hard. You see strain in his eyes. You're pretty sure he had some kind of aneurysm or something that just he's out.
Looks like I'm the tougher of the two.
Okay, so he crumples.
I kick him over with my foot.
Okay, so he's down, and the other guy, he looks at you guys.
And he runs for the hills.
And you see his pants start to discolor, and he turns and starts to run away. Balasar, what are you doing?
I'm gonna drop my glaive real quick. I'm gonna leap after him to the ground.
Okay, tackle him to the ground. Go ahead and roll a athletics.
Okay. Oops, sorry. 11.
Okay, I'm gonna do it at advantage because this dude's scared witless.
So you rolled.
Oh, you already got it. Okay, it's got it. 22, yes. So the 22 does succeed. You now have him grappled on the ground.
Okay. Yep, and I have advantage on strength checks. And well, this isn't strength.
Perfect. So you just hear him underneath. He's like, "Oh, I'm sorry." Like and he's just totally panicking.
You've made me very upset. Human, right?
Yes, this guy's he's a little shorter, a little stouter. He's not. You could tell he's more fresh to the ranks. He's no veteran. Kind of a younger kid.
Very upset, human. You make me bleed my own blood.
I'm sorry, man. Like, I've just taken orders. That's what they told me.
Who told you to do this?
Oh, and you see the look. Just kind of, his face goes a little white because he knows he shouldn't have said anything.
I smack my hand into the back of his head, slamming into the dirt.
Okay. And then at this point, he gives you a little bit more information about the red brand ruffian. So not red band, not red bland, whatever. He is a red brand ruffian. He said I get my stuff. They don't tell me. The guy Jack, he totally just like smashed him, and the arrow in his head. He was the only guy. I was following him. He told me to come with. He said he had somebody who he needed to rough up and show who's boss in this town. And that's and so he's just kind of stuttering and stammering, and he's shook up.
Were you guys the last of your little band of thieves?
No. There's other of us, and he'll kill me if I tell you. I'm sorry.
Who will kill you?
And he looks around in the area, and he whispers, just kind of in a hushed undertone, "Glass staff."
Glass staff.
And he's looking at you expectantly, like you should know this dude. Like, come on.
Look, I called Dorlorum over here and asked him if he is familiar with the name or.
Never heard of it.
No one you ask everyone in the group, everyone just kind of shakes their head, and no one really recognizes it. At this point, you're all together, as well as Aurora. She's kind of walking up this road sprightly, kind of sees what's going on, and then gets a concerned look on her face and approaches.
So nice of you to join us, Elf. I'm going to let one of the others deal with this guy. I'm going to sit back against some sturdy thing because I'm bleeding pretty badly here. So.
Okay.
You still got one guy to take care of.
No,
Okay.
This is the one, right? Because Jacken's already dead.
Everybody's dead except for this guy that you've got grappled.
Dead. Okay.
Yeah, everyone's dead, including Shanks with the crooked nose.
I'm
gonna do lay on hands on Balasar.
Okay, go ahead and Balasar, you have.
Get the door.
Balasar, you got +5 to your health.
Okay.
It's a flat. Wait, actually, didn't it go up because you? What is it? Is it 10?
Yeah, it's a 10 now.
It is a 10 now, so it's +10.
Wow.
And she can expend multiple if she wants. Is that just one of them, right? One charge? Yes, so one charge is 10, so you got 10 hit points added.
I'm definitely feeling much better now.
No more bleeding.
Thank you.
Okay. So he's looking around at you guys like, so you gonna let me go? Like what? Come on, guys! Like,
Hold on now. Where's your hideout? Where is this glass staff at? Who is this flat staff?
And he's kind of kicking his butt. He's like, you don't want to go there, man. Like, there's just all I can say is stay away from the manor.
Tell us now.
Okay. Let's see. Do it with advantage. He's scared witless. Okay. Either way, what's up?
I would like to charismatically try and calm him down and say, "My child, it's okay. We just want to know what we can do to rid this town of any evil spirits, or wish them." Yeah.
His eyes goes from Balasar to you, Balasar to you, and then he fixates on you, just seeing like you're his only you're like his only hope of kind of staying alive, kind of thing. You don't have to roll. This is good cop, bad cop, and he's just like, I don't even know. So he looks over and he's like, evil? You mean if you're talking evil, there's this eye monster. I've been hearing a lot about it, but I would. Oh man. And he's talking about. He tells you a little bit more about how. He basically just opens up to you. He opens, just crumples, all reservations gone, in the hopes that he might wash away his sins. And so,
Talking about with the eye monster, do we recognize what it is?
you wouldn't. The only person, Zedek, I think, is the only person that I would think may have heard of it. Go ahead and roll a nature check.
Okay.
We sent our pet behold to look for you.
Or all of us? Or...
Zedek only. The rest of you wouldn't know.
What about our rangers? No?
Rangers, no. This is a deep thing.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
So he doesn't know a whole lot about it, but no, I'm sorry. The guy who you're talking to doesn't know a whole lot about it, other than hearing whispers and things from other guys that there's a guardian that it's subterranean, and that it eats flesh. It's definitely something that will nom on people's faces. You gather. Yeah, you gather that it is something that it's something that's not natural, and it is something that is definitely dangerous, but that you're not 100% as to the exact nature of the being with the little information that he's providing to you, because there's lots of animals that just have a singular ocular eye.
Does he tell us anything like how long people have been having these sightings, or?
He says that it's part of the lower complex, and that it's not as much people out in the town. It's more that's a guardian that is there that they.
Is it out by the?
It's down in the lower part of the Trenzador Manor, the Red Brand complex.
Oh, in the manor.
So the manor was originally created, and he tells you, this manor was originally created. They had these cellars down below that were meant, up here on the hill, that were meant for, if there's a drought or other things. This was before people came and rehabilitated this town. This manor had existed, but there's these caverns and there's these caves and things down there that the Red Brands have really well hidden, and that's kind of where they've been operating from. And that hideous eye monster pretty much is just one of those things lurking in that area, guarding things. He says that he had a handful of captives. They're in a holding area near the crypts is all he could give you, and that they had a lot of help in guarding those by some of the local deceased. So there's he's not sure what exactly, but he knows that there's some kind of magic that's using the undead in that area, and that the leader of the people, he's never seen him himself. He was recruited. He was got like the second hand whatever recruit that never really got to talk to Glassstaff face to face. He just knows, as in legend, that they were all commissioned to rough up the people in the town and to intimidate locals and basically just kind of assert dominance. You don't know why. He knows that there's a few bugbears that have been in the area that they've enlisted in their help, and that overall the manor up on the hill is a really dangerous place to be.
All right.
And the last thing is that he says I'm not for certain, but I know other guys that Glassstaff he resides somewhere in this town, but I'm not sure where.
Does Glassstaff like his code name or something?
He says that's the only name he's ever known him by.
All right. I want to, take all the whatever money this kid has on him, and I think we should let him go.
Okay.
I'm going to Balon, and I'm Does Balon? He's half orc. Did he have any tusks grown as a half orc?
Yeah, I'd say he has some tusks. They aren't huge, but you probably they probably poke out of his mouth, in diameter, maybe an inch and a half across, and then about 2 inches out.
What's this other guy's name? We never found out.
You never asked his name.
Oh, well, I'd say before he leaves. What's your name?
Oh yes, yes, miss. It's Jameson.
Okay, Jameson. We will relieve your items. Mr. Balasar will take them, and we would set you on your way and help you straighten your life around. And
for the money that he had on him, he had about 30 silver pieces. So Balasar, I'd assume you're the one that took that, right?
That's right.
Okay, so Balasar has the 20 silver pieces. He kind of looks over, really kind of dumbfounded, seeing Doromorlum doing something with the tusks of Balon, and just leaves as quickly as he can. He just books it to the south. He is out.
Well,
he also leaves his cape. He just basically casts it off and runs away.
we got red cape, red brand cape.
Yep.
Can I retrieve my arrow that I...
Go ahead.
Good condition?
Yes, go ahead and roll. Going ahead and pick up your arrow. Anyone else who had fired arrows, you shot a bolt in that guy's head. Go ahead and roll a dexterity or a sleight of hand check for me to see if you break it or if it comes out.
Sleight of hand.
18. Okay, so that comes out. Chunky, you're totally fine too. So both of you have your ammo back to where it was. And as for the other stuff that people had in their pockets, Doromorlum, you find a bag.
I want all my gold back.
You find a bag on Mr. Jack that you recognize. It's your old little package of gold, and inside there's about I think it was like 98 gold coins. At this point, he's spent some of it, but you've gotten a good amount back.
Can we also check them for any kind of parchment that would have orders or just anything?
Yeah. Go ahead and roll for investigation, everyone. And then Doromorlum, what were you doing?
I'm also, oh, whoops, I hadn't rolled that at advantage. Well, I mean, I might as well. I'm at an advantage, right?
Right?
Either way, you got 19, which is good.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. So you got 19.
Back on Balon or whatever his body, I'm pulling out one of his tusks.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, go ahead and is this gonna be a trying to think what this roll would be. Let's do it. Which one?
Humane?
Nature maybe? I'm not sure. Go ahead and roll a nature check.
I'm not even sure what I got.
That's intelligence.
Yeah, well, I'm just gonna say nature because you want to be able to pull it out. Yeah, you get it. You get both of them out.
Ah, good.
You're able to dislodge them, despite the fact that these tusks usually grow really thick and adhere to that lower jawline. So this sickening as it pops out.
Looking away, like this is really grossing me out.
Yeah, I'm bad that breakfast I had is a little too much. At the moment, so.
Balasar, roll a Constitution saving throw for me, please. Since you ate the biggest breakfast.
10.
All right, you throw it all up. Not all of it, but you start dry heaving, and you get at least a mouthful out. So
You get a little acidic nasty in your mouth.
you get that nice taste.
Pocket those and save them for later.
Okay, go ahead and put down that you have 2 half orc tusks. They're not as big as a full-on orc, but they're there.
Where can I add those on my sheet?
You're gonna have to do them manually. So down at the very bottom where it says the stuff in your, at the very bottom, you can hit the plus icon and it'll add one, and you just type it in manually.
Was it under equipment?
Yes? Question mark.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, you bet.
Yep.
Bag of stuff.
Okay, perfect.
So
Okay.
so you start to notice everything.
Anything else that was on them?
Go ahead. You rolled pretty high on that roll. You got your bag of gold back. Balasar, go ahead and on yours, from the other dude that you dispatched near you. And then I think Zedek, you're close to him. Were you looting anybody? There's 2 more guys.
I was looking for parchment.
Yeah. Like,
Becca was looking for parchment.
No, just orders.
I guess
For orders.
I'm
sniffing
thinking
out
that.
anything that could be hidden. I guess is considered.
Okay. As far as what's there, they don't seem to be coming there on any official orders. They didn't have any papers for it. They were just, as far as you could tell from Doro Morlum filling in the gaps here and there, that these guys were just back for
Do they
vengeance.
have any like emblems on them? Any
Yes, on the.
Don't smell anything of like where they came from. Or that.
No, you recognize the cloaks. They're all wearing the same greasy red cloak. You can tell that that's kind of like their identifying mark. The rest of it, they're just wearing just kind of your typical frontiersman.
So I can't tell if they came from like a cave or from a forest or anything like that.
No, they all seem pretty, as far as like their hands and looking at just like their makeup of how they seem to have lived, despite being completely riddled with holes and beating marks, that most of them seem to have lived a city life. They all seem to have pretty clean fingers. A few of them, like the Jack that got completely decimated, he's got kind of like stuff under his nails and
But nothing
dirt.
to lead to like a hideout. That
No. Aside from what the boy said, that the hideout was essentially in Transitar Manor. The only other identifying mark is that each of them have that red cloak with the same symbol on it.
I would suggest we also acquire their cloaks, so in case we need disguises later.
Okay.
I looked up after you saying this because I was just wiping my puke mouth with one of the other guy's cloaks there.
Okay.
So they may need to be washed before wearing them.
They're very dingy, and they kind of stink of like mothballs and stuff. They're just, you can tell that it was like hey, we got this red, it's going to strike fear in their hearts, but it's nothing that's like, hey, we went in this nice seamstress. It's just whatever they could find, they turned into a cloak, and could have been someone's curtains at some point.
And at some point I will find the wash station in this town, and I will clean them for you guys.
Okay.
Use this for prestidigitation.
Prestidigitation.
I have not that scroll.
Clean the
Other
clothes.
characters.
Okay, so at this point, you guys got it. Balasar and Zedek, when you were looking, Zedek, you found on the one ruffian, he had a small coin purse that just wasn't much. It was mostly looks like drinking money. It was about 10 gold. And then Balasar, same thing. He was the newer kid, and then the main guy, or the other main guy besides the one that Dormorlum had looted, and you probably find an additional about 17 gold.
Alright, I'm adding those cloaks to my inventory.
So go ahead and Becca says she's added all 4 cloaks to her inventory. The people are dispatched. You see people in the shutters of their houses. You see people peeking through and starting to open whispering to each other, opening the window, looking your direction. A lot of them close their windows back up, seeing Dormorlum's display. Just like, oh, you see a little bit of excitement that someone stood up to the red brand, but there's also that apprehension that they're like, is this a greater, is this a good thing or a bad thing? Because that guy's pulling people's teeth out.
I also want to go around and I need to say a prayer for each of these slain souls.
Okay, so you go ahead and you're clasping as you're doing it. You're gonna help inter these bodies outside of town. Yeah, you see, there's a few people that are willing to help. Specifically, the tavern guy. He's like, I can't open with these dead bodies on my porch. Come on, let's get these out of here. Let's go. So he's got some extra people inside to come out help. Some people you gather to be just dishwashers and other things. So you go out behind the sleeping giant out in the field, inter some of these bodies. You say your prayer. Is there anything specific to your deity? Okay. She's looking.
How many dishwashers does this sleeping giant guy employ?
He employs a lot of them, and it wasn't just the sleeping. Then you gather that he's the type of guy that not forced or indentured servitude, but you can tell that he's well versed in making people pay for their stuff, whether they have gold or not. So he's a thick-corded man, a little bit larger. He is a human, but you can definitely tell he's got those big sausage fingers and a mustache that curls on the sides.
For the prayer, I just want to say something to the effect of blessing them to be healed in the afterlife, to know the wrongs of their ways in this earth and such.
Okay. And in doing so, you feel, that your prayer was heard, and between you and Zedek, between you and Zedek on the next time on Dragon Ball Z kind of thing, next time you guys get in a fight, mark down that you both have inspiration. 1d10. Okay. And then, so at this point, you've interred the bodies, you return to the middle of town. You know that there is a nearby owl well, as well as the impending danger in Trenzadar Manor. What do you guys want to do? So you as a group, how do you, come to a consensus?
I need a rest.
I can also heal.
I have 5 hit points left.
I'll gladly heal.
We're still trying to find this guy.
The Rock Seeker?
Yes, and Gundren Rockseeker. So you've got Gundren Rockseeker who's missing, the Owl Well, as well as the Trenzadar Manor.
I think we should.
So the one thing, do you guys want to look around for Rockseeker?
Yeah, I think we should.
Okay, so you
I've seen him or where he went.
Okay, so you
Go back to town.
You go inside. As far as going around the town, in the interest of time, you walk around. You're talking to a lot of people. A lot of people weren't sure that they've seen him, that he's been out of town. You know that from your fight with Clark and some of the other guys that you talked to, including Sildar. Sildar knows that they were taking them to some castle nearby, but you're not sure which castle. As far as specifics on it, you ask people around. They're like, hold on. Just a second. Please wait.
Rude awakening.
After these messages.
I would like to get healed while he's waiting.
Okay, take 10. Take 10. She's gonna do lay on hands. Go ahead and add 10. Sorry, baby woke up not that happy.
Poor guy.
Poor little babies. Okay.
She's actually not awake.
She's not awake. She's like sleep, like distraught. Anyways, so that totally threw me off. You're looking. Oh yeah, so you were talking to him, and you know from just the general. You're gathering intel from different places. You know that he's in a castle nearby. You're not exactly sure where it is, but you've heard mention from a few people that you had seen some orcs similar to the goblins and what have you in the north somewhere. You're not really sure where, but somewhere to the northeast-ish. They don't have any specifics for you on what's there, but you did note that some of them were wearing red cloaks. So other than that, there's a lot of people in the town, aside from, you know, you say Gundren, they get excited, but then you have that sorrow in their eyes that, you know, I'm not sure where he's at or what's going on with him. So as far as specifics, it's still kind of hazy.
Okay. I think, team, that we should, you know, finish off dealing with these red brands. They've seemed to become an annoyance at this time, you know, making us bleed and picking on us for no reason. They seem to be terrorizing this town. So I think we should take care of them before anything else. It seems they're not too far from here. Supposedly.
Okay. So before we proceed, everyone go ahead and let's see how many we got in this cloister of people. Oh, come on.
Because Sneaky's in here, but he's not playing.
Correct. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Go ahead. Come on. It's not working. All right, everybody go ahead and add 70 XP as a part of that encounter to your character sheet. I'll go ahead and add it to Aurora and Clandon. Actually, no. Chunky can do Clandon.
Okay, I don't know if Joey gained any XP after his last level up here, so I don't know if he's been keeping track or not. So
okay, put it. Does he have any of those open ones and just say like the last one we got this many and then?
I don't.
They all should be level 2. Let me think. Everybody last time was level 2, but then they went partially up to level 3, so they should be just over 300 somewhere. I can see Aurora did not put hers in.
We put it in
555 was Clandon's. Everyone should have been about the same, so it should have been around 555.
Okay.
Does that match? Okay. And Zedek, does that match yours, 555 for experience points?
I must have not last.
Were you at 300?
485.
Becca says 485, so I think
I think
485, and then Clandon did some stuff that he got extra experience points. That's right. Okay. Yeah, so 485 should be everyone else, and then just add to that the 70.
Take a step back.
Yep.
And except for me, I'm at 407 for my total right now.
Okay. And that's because you guys had a little bit different XP
so
because
now
of your
we're
different
at
encounter.
555.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Cool. Aurora. Come on. Why is this being dumb? There it goes. Plus 70. Alright, so that's good. Alright. Now, so you've done that. The experience points have gone up. And so, at this point, are you deciding what was the consensus that you want to try and deal with the red band? Is that what I'm understanding?
Well, what about you guys? What would you guys like to do?
I'm fine with shooting red cloaks.
Don't fire till you see the white of their eyes.
Fair enough.
We don't know. You're gonna have stinky cloaks.
How long will it take for the cloaks to be finished washing?
She, as far as getting stuff around, if she wants to put in a rush order, it'll cost a little more, but they could get it done probably in 2 or 3 hours.
Okay, I think
Because they're gonna wash them and then they're gonna squeeze them out, and they do everything hand wash, but they don't douse it super wet like our stuff.
I think we got short rest in the meantime.
Okay, so you guys go back to the Stonehill Inn. You reconvene. You're mulling it over a little bit. People keep coming by, and clapping you on the shoulder, and just again, you've breathed a little bit of vitality into the town, seeing that it seems like the people who congregate in Stonehill Inn are usually those people seeking refuge from the Red Brand pirates, or not pirates, the Red Brand ruffians, who typically frequent the Sleeping Giant. So
I'm gonna go ahead and use one of my hit die.
okay, so you go ahead and use your hit die. Everybody.
I do.
So it heals you. You can use it during short rest, and you get to heal for it.
Yep.
Oh, yay.
So I'm back to full health.
Oh, no.
It-
Make that an 8.
you can use as many as you have a level. You can roll your second one if you want.
Okay, cool. I'm at full health.
Just make sure you mark it in your sheet how many.
Yeah, I did. Got it.
Okay. Does rage regenerate?
How do you get hit dice back?
Long rest.
Long rest gives you half of your half of your hit dice rounded down, I believe, at the long rest. Unless it's like extended long rest, then you get all of them back.
Okay.
All right.
All right, cool. So you guys sit out, you get the cloaks, and start to head out towards the Trenzadar Manor. After having a few people clap you on the back, buy you a drink here and there. But just enough to get you buzzed, not to get you completely smashed. Cheers, toasts. Some of you, Benfina is taking water. It's just a kind of a joyous occasion. Everybody enjoys the moment. Sets out towards Trenzadar Manor, and you can see clouds looming in the distance. You can see that there's kind of a thunderhead heading your direction. The rain's, about to set in. And with that, we're going to end it for tonight. And we will continue it in 2 weeks, unless you guys, let's see, next week is, next week, I'd like to do it every week, but next week's going to suck. The 4th is the the Extra Life all-day thing. So the next time we're going to be doing it is on the 11th. Same time, same bat channel, unless people have conflicts, and then we can figure out how we want to mess with it and jigger it.
Alright.
Sound good, guys?
Works for me.
Perfect. Thank you, Chunky, and thank you, Bonefish, for sitting in for some of the other folks. I much prefer, that we have some bodies, even if it's not the same bodies. That's right. Yep. All right, cool, man. I'm going to close out the stream real quick. But then if you guys have any questions afterwards about any of the level up stuff, Battle Dwarf, if you want to hang around for a minute, we can get the rest of that stuff done for you.
Yes.
And we'll get all that jiggered. So I'll be right back, and give me like 5 minutes. Hey guys, all right, thanks for joining. That was really great. I hope you enjoyed it. There was a lot of the stuff in the town, but I think that everybody seemed to have fun. We've got a couple of people that weren't here today, but we made do. It turned out well. So I thank you all for dealing with us. Sorry again for the chat was being a little weird today. So if you were chatting, I was not receiving the messages. I'm trying to use this new restream.io. But the computer kept going to sleep and just doing weird things. So I apologize if you were speaking and we weren't able to hear you, but thank you again for being a part of it. If it's your first time being here, welcome to the Nut House. What are you in for? If you're recurring, what brought you back? What method of insanity brought you back to the Nut House? But anyway, thanks for joining it. Earlier today, being able to do a bunch of the stuff with actual preparation, giving you a little bit of full view of what happens with D&D, including the DM's perspective. We'll try and do a little bit more of that. On November 4th, we're going to do, as I mentioned before, we're going to do our Extra Life LAN. What we really want to try and do is we're trying to raise $1,000 as a team, Team Nom, to be able to give to charity through Extra Life, which is they're part of the Children's Miracle Network, where you donate while we're playing games. The idea is that everybody comes together, puts whatever pennies they can towards it. It's the same foundation that whenever you're at the checkout stand, they say, hey, do you want to round it up for the Children's Miracle Network, whatever. Same thing. It's just in the stream value. Right now we are a quarter of the way there. We have received $25 of 100, so we're 50% there on my personal goal of $100 and 3% there on the overall goal of 1,000. So I know we can do it. It's going to be awesome. The 4th is the official date that we want to try and hit that by, but I'm opening it up for everybody now. So if you're on the Twitch channel, go ahead and check down in the description below. If you're on YouTube or on Mixer or any of those other platforms, I'll get those on there before the 4th, so that way, next time we stream, it's there. Next time we're going to be doing this is on the 11th for this particular group. Otherwise, you can find us every Monday and Friday doing D&D, same bat time, same bat channel. So thanks for coming, guys. Peace.